Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And then remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money. I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Travis Robinson is with us, Maxwell Agency. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be back.
Glad to have you with us. Hey, and let's see, what are we celebrating today? We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. It's National Pina Colada Day. Do you like pina coladas? I don't know. Pina coladas, strawberry. I guess if you're out by in Hawaii, I go with a pina colada. When we're out by the pool, we'll have a pina colada every now and then. I did try this last weekend. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Cut water. You have any of those cut water drinks, Travis?
Cotton water?
Cut water.
Oh, cut water. Yes, I have.
Okay, so they have a pina colada cut water. Way too sweet for me. Yeah, I don't know. I understand the Bloody Mary one, if you can find it, is good. But I don't, maybe I'm just boring. Tito's, martini, shaken, 3 blue cheese stuffed olives, and call it a day.
You need to try the Brewery X. Local brewery here. They brew seltzers, all sorts of stuff.
Their Huckleberry's good.
Huckleberry's amazing, yeah.
Now, I'm not a beer guy, so.
Well, I'm not either. I was, but now that I've kind of become friends with the Brewery X guys, their seltzers are made right here in Anaheim, and it's amazing. They're good.
You know something in there, I've been friends with them for a long time, and actually I meet the owner sometimes out at breakfast down on Balboa Peninsula, and it's amazing what they've done. If you're a student of business, what they've done over there, pretty amazing stuff. Let's see what's going on in the world today, because we could talk alcohol all day, and unfortunately, as we record this in the morning, it's 9 a.m. So I think we've only done 2 or 3 shows where, we did indulge on the broadcast, but we were also doing a show on tequila. So how do you do a show talking about Comisario tequila and not have some samples? Even though it was 9 in the morning, it was good stuff. And I've asked the guys at Brewery X, they're too busy for me. We just do a little broadcast, 7 listeners. Maybe there's a million of you that might touch base with us on social media today, like many days, but let's move right along. Let's see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, wow, it's up 280 points. The S&P 500 is up 18. NASDAQ down. Well, that's interesting. The NASDAQ's down 1375. And oil is down $1.46 a barrel. Now, we like it when oil's down $1.46 a barrel. Now, stop that. Okay. Let's see. Does it matter in California? Probably not. I'm looking at California here, and our average for California down a penny from yesterday, $4.54 a gallon. 3.17 is the national average, and there's only 4 states in the entire country that have gasoline prices over $4 a gallon. And yes, California leads the way. Believe it or not, California is even higher by a dime over what they're paying in Hawaii. Now, we probably ship the gasoline from California to Hawaii, but they don't have to pay Gavin tax. So the Gavin tax costs a lot of money. So we get stuck with it. We watch and see the markets. Not a pleasant day in the markets. What's driving these markets? Well, good and bad, because when you look at the bond market, which is what we look at when we're talking about home loans, the bond market is contrary. What's good for the economy? Not good for the bond market. What's bad for the economy? It's good for the bond market. So today we got 4 weeks in a row of reduced jobless claims, people filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time. 4 weeks in a row, they've been going down. That's good for the economy, but it's taken the bond market the other way. Big news right now in the mortgage world is Pulte, our FHFA leader, Pulte, came out and was misleading. Now, does that surprise anybody that we get misleading information from the government?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Okay, so he came out and said that as of yesterday, the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to accept Vantage scores. That's what I've been calling for years, the FACO score. Now, here's the issue. Just because they're going to accept it doesn't mean the marketplace is ready for it. So if you're calling a lender and they say, oh, yeah, that's what Pulte said, well, ask them if they can take into account the Vantage score. And the answer is no. Can't do it because the guidelines are not there. The investors are not there. The originators are not there. The loan operating systems are not there. The underwriting systems are not there. So it'll probably be somewhere between 6 and 12 months until we see anything, any effect of that. But remember, you still have to have a plan. So when I talk about a plan, you got to know what's your number, because if that does matter down the road, maybe you want to have already taken a look at the two-step. And no, I'm not talking about dancing because I don't dance. But we do have the two-step going, rsrlinks.com/two-step. That's for those people that need to get some cash. Now, there's a lot of ways of getting cash. The two-step is one way of doing a debt consolidation. If you don't have liquidity in your property, we've got unsecured loans available. So that's out there also. So rsrlinks.com/two-step is the way. Take care of doing step one right now. When you're ready, you have all the liabilities cleaned up. It's up to you to make sure you stay that way. And then hopefully interest rates will be a little bit lower 6 months from now. You may be able to take advantage of that Vantage score, not the FICO score. We'll see. And you do the restructuring down the road. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Travis Robinson's going to tell us about AI in medical care. Mm-hmm. He's a guru. We're going to test his computer prowess. No, we won't.
Yeah, don't do
that. But that's a whole different story. We're going to all talk. We're also going to talk the truth about where home prices are heading, and Medicare alone. That's a risky move. Most folks don't see coming. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018699452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today is being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI. They provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put in your mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. If you don't have a mortgage calculator, rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And let's see what rates did yesterday. Mixed bag. Conventional 30-year fix, 6.711. That was down. Jumbo 30-year fix, 6.949. That was up. FHA 30-year fix, 6.528. That was down. VA 30-year fix, 6.414. That was up. USDA 30-year fix, 6.423. That was down. Roller coaster. And staying the same last week was the best loan on the market, the Home Select loan. That one was at 8.31%. But yes, I did just analyze someone's situation. They have a 2.5 right now. And by going to the Home Select, we're going to lower their effective APR to 2.229. And their net worth will go up by about $657,000 over the course of the loan. Want more information? GetHomeselect.com. GetHomeselect.com. What's happening in the markets today? Well, we've got the S&P 500 is now up 14.92. 10-year Treasury, that one's up 3 basis points, 4.369. Remember, that's the yield. That's the interest rate. The 30-year mortgage bond, the bond right now, is down 20 basis points, which means interest is up on the bond. What's driving that? And that's what's really more important, because you can get all those numbers on the super secret website, google.com. And I guess being that we're going to talk about AI with Travis today, maybe I'll tell you that you can get all those numbers on AI as well. And I'll even tell you how to do it, but it doesn't matter because strategy beats rate always. Strategy beats rate always. I tell you that every day. And I prove it to you now because one of the new things that we have on our screen here is I can actually even look at the numbers and the difference, because I told you OBMMI, they have the pricing, and I don't know why it went off of my screen here. Now I've got some other garbage on here that's giving me stuff that I don't want. But Josh, put that thing back on the screen for me real quick, would you? So the OBMMI says 6.711 was the mortgage rates as of the 30-year fixed rate yesterday. Today, I'm looking at Mortgage News Daily, 6.79. So that's higher than what OBMMI says. And we also can look at FHA. That one was at 6.414. And Mortgage Bankers Association says 6.51. It's all about your strategy. That's what's important. So we need to understand these strategy numbers to get the right information. Now, what is driving the market right now? Well, we've got the Fed minutes came out yesterday. And remember, Fed minutes are from their last meeting. And they basically say, similar to what they don't say it. I say it. Jerome Powell.
Such an idiot.
Yes, he is missing it. He's way behind, not just because the president says it, because the data says it. And the last time we had a Fed chair that was a lawyer and not an economist, you're not going to believe it. It was the Jimmy Carter days. Do we remember those days? If you're old like me, you do. Double-digit inflation. So yesterday, Fed minutes were from 3 weeks ago at the June 18th Fed meeting before the most recent jobs report that showed stronger than expected job creations, and the unemployment rate fell from 4.2 to 4.1 when it was expected to rise to 4.3. As a result of minutes happening before the jobs report, some of the Fed members' opinions may have changed, but the minutes showed that there's a division at some members wanting to cut rates as early as July. The markets are not expecting that. Others wanted to wait and not cut the rest of the year. And we already know that the Fed is restrictive. Bottom line, first chance of rate cuts has likely been pushed back to September, and the market is pricing in 2 25 basis point rate cuts this year, even though sub-Fed members may be in favor. They can change their minds quickly depending upon how the data comes in. Initial jobless claims, I told you that, measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time. Fell slightly from 232,000 to 227,000. Remember, it was July 4th week in there. How many people were really concerned about going and filing unemployment on the week of July 4th? I don't think so. Typically during holiday periods, there's significant distortion, so the figures will be more meaningful over the next few weeks. Continuing claims measures individuals who continue to receive benefits after their initial claim rose to 1.97 million, which is the cycle high and largest figure since 2021. Continuing claims approaching 2 million, and shows that once let go, individuals are staying on benefits longer because it's harder to find a job. Wage Tracker, another report that shows weakness in the labor market, is the Atlanta Fed's Wage Tracker, which showed job stayers rising at 4.2% year over year, down from 4.3. Job switchers income decelerated from 4.1 to 4%, now below the stayers. This is also now lower than pre-pandemic levels and shows there is less poaching and hiring from other companies. This emphasizes the continuing claims reading that is at the highest level in almost 4 years. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So we are putting in the coach. Travis Robinson is with us, coach and AI coach. I don't know. We're not going to go to AI coach.
No.
But he is a group healthcare coach, football coach. And, I figured, Travis, Mindy said to say good morning, and it's probably not to me. So, we kind of understand where those things are coming from. So Travis does a Maxwell Agency. They call themselves group health providers, but I say they're more than that because they do a whole lot to help businesses. And having small businesses and having had small businesses my whole life, some of the things that Travis and his team do, way, way beyond, a lot more than that. So good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. So you're going AI on us. Everybody's going AI.
Well, if you have a business, right, and you have employees, whether that be 5 employees or 300, I think our largest group right now is around 1,000 employees. The space that we really like to play is around 50 to 250 employees. That's where we really excel. And depending on the size of your business and how many people you have working for you, you have pain points throughout the day, right? Your employees have certain questions about, what medical plan am I on? What's my deductible? What's the difference between an HMO and a PPO? And so we've created this, we didn't create it, but we've joined partners with Delphi, and it's an AI app, or it's AI that allows your employees to go in there and just type, health specific questions where they can go in and kind of educate themselves, as opposed to going to your HR manager or someone and kind of, eating up their time. They can use this AI app, and it just allows them to educate themselves about what medical plan they're on, what are their benefits, and how do they really access it more.
And I could tell you firsthand that my wife needs it, right? Because she'll go to the doctor, or she's thinking about going to the doctor, and totally confused by what covers what.
Right.
Right. And I think most of us are.
Yeah.
You look at it and you go to the doctor, and this time it's one price for the visit and another price for your copay. And you go to the exact same doctor a month or 2 months down the road, and everything's totally different.
It depends on what service you're having done. How did the doctor's office charge that, right? Because with ACA regulations, anything proactive or not proactive, but anything that you're going to see that's preventative, there's the word I'm looking for, preventative, really shouldn't be billed. So it kind of falls under your doctor to claim it as why you're going in there, right? If you go in and say, hey, my back hurts, my knee hurts, and then I also have this preventative service that I want to have done, you really need to go in there and just be seen for that preventative service, and then maybe go back for the visit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's different ways that your doctor's office will classify it. That's why she might be being billed different.
So here, and we love our doctor. I mean, we're really excited because he does a great job for our family. But we're confused. And I think a lot of people are confused. And in this day and age, I think most of us are getting to the point that we're more active. When I was a kid, I know I'm old, so we didn't have, I don't think Al Gore had invented the internet yet. And we certainly didn't have AI back then.
For sure.
Right. So we would go to the doctor, and whatever the doctor said, that was gospel. Right. Now, I'm not saying that the doctor isn't gospel, but what I would say is, we go in with better questions. Sure. Right. And I want to talk to you more about that when we come back, not from the medical standpoint, because last I checked, you're not a medical doctor. I don't think you're going to play one on TV, but the answers on the healthcare part. So we're going to chat about that with Travis Robinson when we come back. The truth about where home prices are heading, Medicare alone, a risky move most folks don't see coming, and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's...
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment today. Being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Truth about where home prices are heading. There are plenty of headlines these days calling for a housing market crash, but the truth is they're not telling the full story. Here's what's actually happening and what the experts project for home prices over the next 5 years. And spoiler alert, it's not a crash. Yes, in some local markets, prices are flattening or even dipping slightly this year as more homes hit the market. That's normal with rising inventory, but the bigger picture is what really matters, and it's far less dramatic than what the doom and gloom headlines suggest. Here's why. Over 100 leading housing market experts were surveyed in the latest Home Price Expectation Survey, HPES, from Fannie Mae. Their collective forecast shows prices are projected to keep rising over the next 5 years, just at a slower, healthier pace than what we've seen more recently. And that kind of steady, sustainable growth should be one factor to help ease your fears about the years ahead. And I will share with you, as Josh puts up the chart here that we have from Home Price Expectation Survey. I went to a class or discussion yesterday with Pat Vealing, and he puts out a good service where they're statisticians, and they go and they look at all of this data all over the country from MLS data, multiple listing services, and then they accumulate it and put out some information. And he's saying the same thing from what the data is out there, not the economists, that they're seeing, okay, there might be some areas that the prices are flattening, but from what I took away, not looking at a crash. So if you're looking at the chart that's on the screen right now, home prices expected to rise more slowly over 5 years. Again, HPES is a great source. 2.9% 2025, 2.78 2026, 3.38 2027. Remember, that's national. If you look, you can almost double that for here in Southern California. If you take a look at how the various experts responded within the survey, they fall into three main categories. Those that were most optimistic about the forecast, most pessimistic, and the overall average outlook. Here's the breakdown. We've got that chart for you. All forecasts, projected 5-year home price growth, not a crash, 3.3%. Optimists, 5%. Pessimists, 1.3%. So they're still projecting growth, even if they're pessimistic. Do they agree on the same number? Of course not. But here's the key takeaway. Not one expert group is calling for a major national decline or a crash. Instead, they expect home prices to rise at a steady, more sustainable pace. That's much healthier for the market and for you. Yes, some areas may see prices hold relatively flat or dip a bit in the short term, especially where inventory is on the rise. Others may appreciate faster than the national average because there are still fewer homes for sale than there are buyers trying to purchase them. But overall, more moderate price growth is cooling the rapid spikes we saw during the frenzy of the past few years. And remember, even the most conservative experts still project prices will rise over the course of the next 5 years. That's also because foreclosures are low, lending standards are in check, and homeowners have near record equity to boost the ability or the stability of the market. Together, those factors help prevent a wave of forced sales like the kind that could drag prices down. So if you're waiting for a significant crash before you buy, you might be waiting quite a long time. Bottom line, if you've been on the fence about your plans, now's the time to get clarity. The market is heading for a crash, is not heading for a crash. It's on steady track. It's on track for steady, slow, long-term growth overall, with some regional ups and downs along the way. Want to know more of what this means for your neighborhood? Because national trends set the tone, but what really matters, it's what's happening in your zip code. Give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or you can just go right on our app. It's free. Go to rsrlinks.com/market report, rsrlinks.com/market report, and get the report from your zip code. Again, it does not cost you anything to put your zip code in there, put your information in there, and we'll tell you what's going on in your zip code. Again, that is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Continuing our conversation with the coach. I'm ready to play. Talking about group health. So, Travis, I'm not going to put you on the spot because I don't know about you, but I'm not a computer expert. Josh does all that stuff for us.
For sure.
But you know something I have gotten into using. Are you using ChatGPT at all?
I do, and I probably don't use it for, I use it as Google search. I use it to, rewrite emails or help me, not sound like a, seventh grader.
Well, something I tell it to write my stuff in 9th grade level. So we're all in the same boat here. But when I know you're younger than me, but I'm assuming when you were younger, you also had the same thing. You go to the doctor and whatever they say that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think most of us, and maybe it's not you, maybe it's your wife, whoever does it in your household, somebody probably does. We take more responsibility and, we look things up more, I think.
Yeah,
as
for
far
sure.
as what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, it's, this new app that we're kind of bringing out and kind of launching. We're in a soft launch mode, but it's really designed for your employees. If you own a business, right? And it's designed for your employees to go to it and they can educate themselves as to what medical benefits they have. Do they have an HMO? Do they have a PPO?
So you're saying something completely different than what I'm saying there, because I look at it to just kind of get a idea of what my health concerns are. But if I'm hearing you right, this could help me a ton, because I know when I had my companies, people were all confused. The employees were all confused.
Right.
What's the right thing for me? Not what's right for the company, because the company, just like I talk real estate, when I talk about real estate from a national level, it's meaningless for 123 Main Street.
Yeah. And, most employees, health insurance is important to them, right? When they do open enrollments, but throughout the year, they kind of forget what they've enrolled in if they're not using it or utilizing it as much. And then they forget, they're like, did I sign up for the PPO? Did I sign up for the EPO? Is it an HMO? What's my deductible? When does my deductible reset? So there's a lot of small issues within it. What
goes into my deductible?
What goes into my deductible? What do I need to take my son to urgent care? What is that going to cost me? So there's a lot of small things. I mean, not fortunately, but I have 2 kids and we're at the doctors all the time. Like,
I'm saying, which part is not fortunate?
Yeah,
Having 2 kids or being at the doctor.
And I'm educated in it because it's what I do every single day. So
Sure.
I know exactly what I'm paying, what services are available to me. But
that's important, because the doctors don't know that. And I'll go back to my wife again, because it's easy for me, right? So, she wanted to go to, she needed to go to urgent care or needed some medical services, I think, for one of the kids.
Yeah.
And she calls them and says, okay, what's this going to cost? Should I go to the emergency room? Should I go to the urgent care? Should I wait for my doctor? And they gave her an answer. And 3 weeks later, we get a bill that's not exactly the same answer.
It depends if you have an HMO or PPO, right? It's what's billed to you. Right? Yeah. Most HMOs just have a straight copay. So you're paying $35, $65 just to walk in the door. And then everything's covered after that. If you have a PPO or an EPO, it's different.
I never even heard of an EPO.
EPO, it's kind of like an HMO. It's kind of like a PPO. It's a mix. It's a blend, right?
It's a half breed.
It's a half breed. So, but a lot of the carriers are offering those now, and there's different point breaks for them, right? So, we recommend to our clients, business owners, that you offer an HMO, you offer a PPO, and your employees can, if they're not educated, my staff will come in, educate them on the difference. What's the best plan for you? Does this HMO has the best price point, but does it have the doctors that you need to see, right?
Does Delphi tell me that?
Delphi, well, yes, it'll help you make that decision, right? But we can also use it where it's like, hey, I'm on Blue Shield. I have the gold HMO trio. What would be my what is my deductible annually? And Delphi will get that information and spit it right back at you.
Nice.
So,
yeah. So that it's, and as I said in our opening when I introduced you, what does that cost to the employee, or what does that cost the business owner?
Well, if you're our client, right, you will not receive a bill from Maxwell Agency. So you get all of our services complimentary, and that includes employee handbooks, learning management systems. If you have 5 or more employees in California, you have to provide sexual harassment training. If you have 10 or more, you have to provide workplace violence protection plans and training. And those are complimentary to all of our clients.
So that goes back to what I was saying, is that you guys are way more than just a group health insurance company. It's not a matter of, hey, here's your health insurance options, and I'll see you next year. Right.
And most businesses don't know. I'm dealing with a large company right now. They're paying about 150 employees. They're paying it's $39.99 per seat for their learning management system. So are there any of the trainings that I just mentioned? I mentioned 2. We have over 1,000 trainings that are made available to them, but this company's paying about $40 an employee for those trainings. And it's
150 people.
150 people times 40. I don't do math well, but
Sounds
you could
like close to 6,000.
Yeah. So she's like, well, could we just, can you provide that service to us? And I said, I can. Just make me your broker. Well, we like our broker. Well, your
Well,
broker
you know
doesn't.
something. Guess what?
Your broker doesn't
like
like
him
you much.
$6,000 worth.
Yeah, if you're using Llama or you're using one of these other services and you're being charged for employee handbooks, any type of training, your broker's doing you a disservice. And I don't want to talk.
How much do you like them?
Yeah, how much do you like them? Do you golf with them on the weekends? That's cool. Like I golf too, but I'm also going to provide a service that benefits the business, the employees. I'm going to do things that's right for I could charge for it, but we figured, how do we make ourselves different? What does Maxwell Agency do different than some of these larger firms, right? And how
You'd
do
be
we?
a lot more nimble when you're a smaller firm.
We're smaller, yeah, but we deal, like I said, the customers that we like are under 300. Anything under 300, I can make your life, your employee's life, and I can make your life easier. I can eliminate pain points that you don't even know, right? And it's like, oh, we're supposed to be doing that. Yes, let's make sure that we get that done for you.
Which we know what's going to happen right now, because the state of California is bankrupt, right? And the federal government and the state government are fighting each other. And where does the state's revenue come from?
Well,
Go out and charge these companies for not having a poster on the wall that maybe they should.
There was a survey done or a report done. I believe it's.
Hold that thought. We're going to go to a quick break, and then we're going
Okay.
to talk about this survey when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Off air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio, or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free. rsrlinks.com/debt-free. As we expand our services to help you become debt-free. Well, guess what? We just added a service that's going to allow you to get unsecured loans. They do it, we don't, but you can go in and put in your information. They'll give you a list of options. They're going to do it in a way that it's not selling all your information to somebody else. Now, they do a soft credit pull, so it doesn't affect your credit score. They'll give you like 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever number of sources are available with programs for you. If you like one, you pick it. If you don't like it, okay, you don't do it. And if you don't qualify for anything, well, then you might need to go and talk to our friend Chris Corrales, because you might have bigger problems. That is the Your Credit Matters segment today, being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/debt-free, rsrlinks.com/debt-free. Continuing our conversation, Travis Robinson is with us today. We are talking about group health. And Travis, you started talking before the break about a survey, a poll. This just baffles me.
Yeah, it's I don't know how old it is. I remember seeing it maybe 2 years ago, but it says about 84% of businesses in California are out of compliance. What does that mean? It could be anything. It could be your employee handbooks. It could be, ACA compliance trainings that need to be made available to your employees. And your employee handbooks need to be updated every single year. So if you haven't done that in a year, you could use our new AI feature and say, if I'm out of compliance with my employee handbooks and sexual harassment training and I have 20 employees, what are my potential penalties? And it'll tell you. And, so a lot
I
of
got to
business.
put that into put in California.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You plug it in and say, I have a business. I've got 20 employees. I haven't updated my employee handbooks in 2 years, and I haven't done sexual harassment training. What potential penalties am I looking at? Right. So most business, a lot of people don't know what they don't know. So if you're a client of mine, we're going to help educate you on what needs to be done. And we're going to do 90% of the lifting for you. Right. So we're going to say, hey, you need to do your employee handbooks. Okay, well, jump on an hour phone call with some of our HR professionals, and then they're going to update your handbooks for you, provide it, and then we will distribute that amongst your employees and make sure that they review it and sign it. Then you're in compliance.
And you've got that thing. I know we've talked about it on your open enrollment, that it tracks who's done their work and who hasn't.
Yeah.
Does it track
So
for this as well.
Another service that we're doing, the two big employee benefit admin systems in California and maybe nation, I'm not sure, but are Ease and Employee Navigator. And most businesses that are paperless are using one of these administration systems. Most people know by now that Employee Navigator is absorbing and taking over Ease. So if you're on Ease, you're going to have to switch over and get pushed to Employee Navigator. Well, what does that mean to me? Well, one of the things that Andreas, head of our technology, we're providing, better best practices, uses, and what it means to you. So if you're on one of those and want to get complimentary training, we can do that. We'll do that for you, which is cool. So, but yes, to answer your question, we can tell you, hey, you've got 30 employees. How many people have reviewed your employee handbooks? Well, you've got 10 that have finished it. You've got another 5 that haven't even opened it. And the other 15 or whatever it is are halfway through it. So we can do push notifications and send out to your employees and say, listen, you need to get this done by the end of the week. Please review, sign, and then bam, you're in compliance. It's that simple.
Okay, so and so you've got somebody on staff then
that does all of this. I am not doing this.
No, yeah, right. That was my point.
Yeah,
is you've got somebody that is looking out for this, and you're an expert in group health, right? I spend a lot of time with lending.
Mm-hmm.
A plumber knows a lot about plumbing. We don't all cross.
No.
Right? So a plumber probably is not studying employee benefits and and exposure there, nor do you, nor do I.
Right. And
right?
It's just
so
like
having a expert that you can, an expert resource that's part of the program.
Right. And it's just, just like coaching football at St. John Bosco. I play a very small role in that, right? We are good because of the team that I have, my coaches that I work with, the players that I coach with. It's the same thing at Maxwell. We are excellent at mid-sized businesses under 300, not because of me, but because of the people that I work with, the people that we employ, because of
the team you've put together.
The team that we've put together, right? We are.
And that's why I always give you the intro.
Yeah. But it's just like Bosco's going to have his success. I play a small role in that, but Bosco is who it is because of the team that we put together, right? Like I said,
but let me ask you this, and I don't know the answer. A lot of times I do know these, but I know in professional sports, during their practice time, they will hire referees to come in and oversee practice.
Yep.
And I know Bosco's a big program. Do you guys do that too?
Yes, we do. For our spring game, we had refs out, and then when we have our scrimmage, we'll have too many refs. Like they bring a lot of refs out. There's 30 refs that are there.
So my point here is that even though you guys know the rules, right? Then you bring in an expert that knows even better.
100%.
Right. So I know underwriting guidelines, and I can go on here, but a lot of times I'll call an underwriter and say, hey, I got this question. Boom, 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 boom. Can you help me? They do.
Yep.
Same thing with all of these different things. I've got a whole packet here that Travis has that, they understand these things. What poster do you need up?
Right. It's our new, it's not new, but it's new to us. We've partnered with, I believe it's Zywave, and it's a client portal. And you go into this client portal as a business owner or HR manager, and the amount of information and services made available to you is unbelievable. Right. Like I said earlier, you don't know what you don't know. And we try to put our business owners and employees in a position to be successful, right? The business owner shouldn't have to worry about 90% of this stuff. Let Maxwell Agency do it. Let the business owner do what he's good at, right?
So I'm going to tell you how to deal with this from an AI standpoint, because I use AI a lot. So you go into ChatGPT or Gemini or whichever one you like, and you say, I am an HR manager for a plumbing company with 50 employees. And what pitfalls do I need to ask my compliance people, my employee compliance people, about whatever? And then after it gives you the answer, what else do I need to know? ChatGPT will tell you those things.
Yeah, 100%.
And now you can go to the expert and say, hey, Travis, can you put me in touch with your whatever? And, whatever you need. And you've got those people already that we have them.
If they're not
our team now.
Yeah, if they're not on my staff, we've hired a company to handle that for us, right? Like I'm not in charge of Zywave. Zywave is a company that we've hired, but we bring Zywave to the table because they are HR professionals. They know what exactly needs to go into employee handbook. They know what needs to go on the posters. That is not me. I am not an HR professional. I'm probably honestly an HR nightmare if I were to work at a large company. But that's why if you're the smartest person in the room, find a different room, right? I am sitting in a room and I am perfectly happy. I am not looking for a new room.
You know what? But what the thing is that at least, so one of the things I think you're going to bring is questions, right? Do you know that you need to have, you're in a room right here, we're in the studio and our walls are all white. Well, you might say, hey, do you know you're supposed to have a poster? I don't know which poster, but you probably should have a poster. Call John. He knows about posters and he'll give you the right answer.
Yeah.
So you know enough to know there's certain I tell people when I went to college, I was at Chapman College. I learned more questions than I learned answers. Right. And it's exactly what you're saying. I'm not the smartest guy in the room.
Sure.
I'm lucky that I do a radio show every day. So I get to talk to a lot of people that are a lot smarter than me.
100%.
Right. I mean, way more about medical health and medical insurance than I do.
Yeah.
So I call you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It's a pretty simple thing. I think that you should call Travis too. If you've got a business and Travis told us 50 to 250 employees, but I know that we've talked from time to time that a CPA practice or a medical practice or a restaurant, Travis helps them too. So give me a call at 800-306-1990. I know where to find Travis Robinson. We don't call him in the middle of the afternoon, weekdays, football season. We know, but he'll call you back. Give me a call again, 800-306-1990. I'll put you in touch with Travis. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.